One touchdown.
Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable!
One shot.
Bryant for the win! Bang!
One goal.
And then Ronaldo!
What a goal by Cristiano Ronaldo! Sensational!
3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Gridiron Sports Podcast, where we talk about the hottest sports takes. Here are your hosts, Chase, Mao, and Ant. Let's get started.
Yo, what's up, y'all?
Yo, what's good with y'all? How y'all fellas doing, man?
I'm all right.
Yo, what's good? What's good?
Yo, playoffs right around the corner, y'all. Two, three more games, and we at the playoffs finally, bro. Because the regular season is getting hard to watch.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, a lot of blowouts,
Oh, yeah.
man. A lot of blowouts.
Yeah, like I don't know, man. I think you can kind of see it in the players as well. Like even the players that aren't in, like, I mean, even the teams that aren't in the playoffs, like these guys are, man, they ready for vacation. Like they like, yo, like
They ready for Cabo. They ready.
yeah, that's really how it be though. Like it's like, yo, like we not finna go to the playoffs. So what the fuck I gotta go all out for it. So
Just go out, try and get some buckets, get some stats up, and then
facts. You got for real, especially if you like a still up and coming player or older player, you gotta be playing for a roster spot next year. Like shit.
yeah.
You gotta play. You gotta be playing. So, but yeah, man. Finally, dog. The playoffs. I mean, in season tournament starts next week, yo. But we do got our first official playoff matchup, yo. We got the Mavs versus the Clippers in round 1. So this is going to be a really, really good matchup. As we know, these teams have faced off before in the playoffs, and the Mavs won both series. So, I mean, not the Mavs. The Clippers won both series. So the Mavs are 0-2 against the Clippers in the playoffs so far. But yeah, it's going to be a really good game, guys. Two really good offensive teams and defensive teams as well. I mean, the Mavs have been playing better defense the second half of the season. But yo, who y'all got in this matchup, and then how many games, y'all? I'll start with you, Ant.
Ooh, this is a tough one because me personally, like on paper, like if you were to ask me, like if I didn't watch basketball like how I was the past couple of years, and I was like on paper, it's like, oh, the Clippers have this easily because you have fucking James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Russell Westbrook coming off the bench. Like even if like you don't need like a lot. Like you have what you need to win. Like the Clippers. This has been their thing. They've had enough to win. It's just that when it gets to playoff time, they just kind of never do it, and it's kind of crazy how. But I do think that this year, like it has to be the year. Like they've shown signs of being a formidable, like an actual contender this year, especially and that one stretch of form where I think Harden was scoring for 30 every game, and everyone was just clicking. I think that if they're able to get Harden going and have him be their scorer, and like him not playing like how he did last season in the playoffs, where he'd go for one game for 50 and then just disappear for the rest of the series, and then go another game for 30 and just disappear for the next game. And so I think that I would like to see him like show why people put him above Wade. Like I don't know why, but like yeah, I think you have to show it in the playoffs. I think this is the time to show like you deserve to be an all-time great. And so I think that the Clippers will do it over the Mavs. But that's not to say that the Mavs aren't going to give them a run for their money. You know, they're playing great ball right now. They're peaking at the right time. You know, Luka's playing he could be the possible MVP. That I don't know. I don't know how the MVP is going to work this year, but I think it'll be a good series. I think it'll go to 7, just because of the Clippers they're gonna lose in a stupid fashion, and then how the Mavericks are playing right now, they're one of the best teams in the league right now. But I do think that the Clippers are talented enough to win this series. I think on paper they have enough. It's just seeing how if all their superstars show up.
That's fair. What you think, Mel?
Yo, I've been tossing and no Diddy. I've been tossing and turning this whole day. Once you sent the topics,
Pause.
man. Yeah, I know. Pause that. But listen,
I said no Diddy.
I had to. You know what I'm saying? But nah, on a serious note, dang. At first I would have had the Clippers winning this series, but I think on how the Mavericks are playing, I believe like in their last 18 games, they are 16-2, if I'm not mistaken, as of today. So, but going into the playoffs, the way the Mavs playing, the way that Luka is finishing the season out, the way that Kyrie is closing the games out for the Mavericks, the way their role players are going, I'm gonna have to go to Mavs. And since Luka is a huge mismatch for the Clippers' best defenders in PG and Kawhi, I don't see the Clippers having an answer for either Kyrie or Luka. I'll go Mavs in 6. I'll go Mavs in 6 right now. What you thinking, Chase?
Man, this is a tough one because, like Ann said, the Clippers will find ways to lose in a really weird fashion. That's just how it's been with Ty Lue and the Clippers, man. Man, I'm gonna lean here. I'm gonna say the Clippers. I think if Kawhi is healthy, I see the Clippers taking this in 6, and the reason is, if we look at this Mavericks team, right, the Mavericks are a great team, right? Luka and Kyrie finally have that chemistry down 100%. But man, in the playoffs, like, what do we know about the NBA playoffs, man? So in the playoffs, it's not like the regular season. You actually get time to game plan and scheme up against your opponent versus the regular season. Like, you don't even get time to do that. It's just like, you go through walkthroughs, boom, you're at the game, right? So I think with that preparation, they're really going to be able to find some weaknesses with the Dallas Cowboys because I can't see the Cowboys. They can score as many points as they want.
The Mavericks, bro.
I just cannot see them getting any stops.
Mavericks,
and that's
Chase.
the biggest problem. If they can find a way to get stops, I think they'll be able to win this game. But I think that's the biggest problem because when we look at Gafford's a good defender, PJ Washington's a good defender, but I think they're gonna try to go ahead and exploit Luka and Kyrie on the defensive end. On the defensive end. And the thing is, like, okay, so let me say this. Like I said, if the Mavs can find a way to get stops on defense, they'll win. They'll run away with the series. But like, when we're looking at Luka and Kyrie, like, we're not, obviously, we don't expect you guys to be freaking Derek White and Drew Holiday on the defensive end. That's not your game. We do not expect that, right? That's very unrealistic. But if they can give just a little bit of effort, a little tiny bit of effort on that defensive end during this series, they could win. I just can't see that happening, man. Because they're gonna go in the playoffs. I mean, Luka's gonna get his. He's gonna get his 30, 10 and 10 or whatever. Kyrie's gonna get his. But the thing is, like, they can get you 60 a night, right? 60 a night, 60 plus a night, 70 plus a night. But if you can't generate stops on the other end, that's where the problem is. And we know Kawhi, PG, both two-way superstars, right? Harden, he can at this age he can still average like 20. He can still get you 20, right? Westbrook coming off the bench. So there's a lot of things that count for that Clippers team. But I mean, one thing that Ant tied into is like, it's the Clippers. Like, they're gonna find a way to do some dumb shit and lose. I feel like it's like inevitable with these guys. They always find a stupid ass way to lose. But the Mavs are rolling here. I think they're 18-2 or 16-2 the last couple games. Although it has been a weaker schedule, but they are playing good ball, and these are the type of things you want to see, like, especially going into the playoffs. Not shit you're seeing from the Celtics tonight, down fucking 30 to the fucking Knicks over here playing like some dumbass. But if the Mavs can like keep up this type of momentum going into the playoffs, they can come away with that series. But I'm gonna go ahead and stick with the Clippers, and I'm gonna stick with the Clippers in 6. But yeah, bro, the Celtics are pissing me off right now, yo. Like, oh man. But yeah, so we got that. So Mal, you said Clippers or you said Mavs?
I said Clippers.
And how many games?
7.
Clippers in 7. Mal, you said Mavs in 7, all right?
Nah, Mavs in 6.
Mavs in 6? Okay. Yeah, so I got Clippers in 6, and I got Clippers in 7. Mal got Mavs in 6. But moving on, guys. We'll stick with the Mavs here briefly. So there's been a lot of talks going on that Luka and Kyrie are the best scoring duo in NBA history. What are your takes on that? I mean, it is a small sample size. It is a pretty small sample size, but I can see where people are going with this. They are playing lights out, and it seems like they have been able to figure out their game. Like, Kyrie is completely fine with playing off the ball, and the chemistry is just clicking. So, what do you guys think about that? Luka and Kyrie being the best scoring duo the league has ever seen.
I'm going with KD and Steph Curry as the best scoring duo. It was proven in the playoffs. They basically ran through the Western Conference for 3 years with KD being healthy. Even the year that he was, messing up with his calf and he had his Achilles injuries. They still basically swept through the West and got to the what's the name to the finals that year. So yeah, I'm going Steph and KD as the best scoring duo, or Kobe and Shaq. So I would have those two over Luka and Kyrie.
I mean, there's not really much else I have to say after that one. Those are pretty much the two best scoring duos of all time. As we know, when Katie and Steph, they were literally unstoppable, and not just as a duo, of course, as a team as well. But like, it just didn't matter. It just didn't matter because Steph was knocking down everything, and then if KD was taking over, that was KD taking over for them was like that's what you wanted to happen. But like when it came down to it, Steph would make the right shots, and that was kind of the whole thing about them in the finals against the Cavs. Like they were trying to force KD to like be the primary shot handler, and then when it came to clutch time, Steph made big shots, and that's kind of what you see. And then of course Kobe and Shaq, classic duo. Some will say that's the best duo of all time, just in general. I don't know if I agree with that or not, but yeah, like I think those two obviously clear, and then I think, of course, statistically it's gonna look better because of how the offense is in the NBA now, how it's just easier to score. But like I still think that I still like I can't really name any off the top of my head, but I don't even think I would have Luka and Kyrie in my top five personally, just because of just no success. We'll see in the playoffs what they do, but as of right now, I can't judge anything off of just regular season. I need playoff success and playoff dominance in order to like cement you up there.
Yo, speaking on that, Mavs fans have been killing the my mentions, man, because I said because they posted something about Luca. He was like first in every stat or whatever. And I was like, oh, this is nice. Let's see how this translates to the playoffs, right? And they were like, this happened today? And they're all like, yo, like Luca's one of the best playoff performers of all time. And I keep asking them, okay, like, what's the record? What's his record, right? But it's just annoying how people keep like not even just people. Mavs fans are prioritize stats over wins because literally, like, if you look at the replies, I asked each of them because they're showing me this graphic of Luca and Jordan. How Luca has like better playoff stats than Jordan, but I'm like, okay, like what, like where are the wins? Like how many wins? He's 12 and 15 in the playoffs. Like the stats don't matter much if you're not winning. Like you guys see what I'm saying? Like the stats, nobody gives a fuck if you average 40 points a game in the playoffs. If you don't fucking win, they don't care. Like
That's literally Carmelo Anthony, James Harden, Joel
ex-
Embiid. That's their whole stigma
exactly.
against them. Like they're players that okay, they can give you buckets when it doesn't matter, but when it does matter and it's time to win, those are guys that you don't really trust those guys, and that's kind of I wouldn't say that's what Luka is yet. I think that he still has enough time because he's made a Western Conference Finals before. He's been close to the finals, but he also has played with a lot of great players. Granted, though, like with Jalen Brunson, he's not the Jalen Brunson that he is now. So, like when people
Yeah,
bring that up,
yeah,
it's not
fair.
the same. But like I do see like the difference between like if he had like and which is what is now is good. We saw last year was kind of like a I wouldn't say a blip, but like last year was kind of like was a stain on his career, I'd say, because they didn't make the playoffs last year, right?
No, they got it.
And they
Won
and they
38
and they
games.
Yeah, and they brought Kyrie in midseason, expecting to make a run, and they kind of just didn't gel. But they're able to find addition. I think this will be like this is a proven year for a lot of guys, but I do think Luca is the biggest. This is the biggest Luca proven year I think out of
Yeah,
anyone.
yeah, facts. But to answer the initial question though, Best scoring duo of all time. I forgot. I'm honestly, man, I forgot about Clay and Steph. I mean, not Clay and Steph. Even Clay and Steph were. Come on, even Clay and Steph were better. Shit. But I forgot about Durant and Steph. I did forget about that when I was. I was thinking. Like, I don't even know where I was thinking with this, but I did forget about Durant and Steph. So I would say Durant and Steph are up there. But Luka and Kyrie though, really, uh, I'm happy they found it. They figured it out. I guess you could say they figured it out offensively. So I'm happy with that because like I've been man, for the longest I'm like, yo, Kyrie got to get the fuck out of it because like it's been like, I like Kyrie, I'm a Kyrie fan, but like I'm like, yo, like this shit just ain't working out.
He's supposed to be in South Beach right now.
Nah, I don't think it was. Was he supposed to go to Miami?
I think if we would have, we were on his list, but we never went after him.
Ah, shit. Okay.
It was probably due to the off the court stuff, but
Or, but speaking of Miami, it's actually a good transition. Speaking of Miami, yo, I don't know what's going on with the Heat. And since the All Star break, I don't know what the hell's going on with the Heat. And a lot of Heat fans, I guess Jimmy is trying to keep everyone composed and like, yo, like this time of the year I shine, blah 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 blah, the playoff Jimmy thing. But I'm starting to see that playoff Jimmy talk as a coping mechanism to make fans forget about the shitty play in the regular season to give fans hope that like once the playoffs come on, we gonna take off. But if you're watching the Heat games, you can tell this team just looks terrible. Like they completely inconsistent, just really inconsistent. And I don't know what's going on. Like you're losing to bottom tier teams in the league. I don't know what's going on. So, Ant, do you think you guys concerned or will playoff Jimmy come to the rescue?
I mean, we're concerned. Like this is that it's I hate to say it because like I don't think that like I think of course playoff Jimmy is real, and I do think, but I think he's also like setting himself up like by constantly reminding him because how the season's going right now, like he can still go crazy, but I just don't trust him right now. That maybe that's because like they're at the end of the season, it's kind of like we've also been dealing with a lot of injuries. Like for half of the All Star break, we didn't have like half of our players available, and like of course like we do the trade for Terry, and then like literally as soon as that happens, everyone else gets injured. So now we're forcing him into the lineup. He wasn't able to gel in yet, and then like even when he starts getting gelled in, he gets hurt, and so now we're restarting. Now Hero comes back, and now everyone else is hurt again, and it's just kind of just been that. But like you see, there's times where like we play lights out basketball. Like we played the Cavs. We played the Cavs. Played great. We blew up the Cavs like, the last two times we played them. Blew up the Knicks the last time we played them. But it's just the same teams that like I don't know like because like we played the 76ers when they came back when Joel Embiid came back. We were with them, and it's just we just get behind and we just come up the third quarter slow, and that's kind of what happens like, and it just sucks too when all of our shooters are down, and that's kind of a big part of our offense. So like we kind of have to score more through Jimmy. Bam has to take more of a scoring load and really much a whole team load, and kind of why he's kind of tailored out towards the end of the season because he's been just being the key guy and is just having to exert himself on both sides of the court and doing what he does where our defense is not only anchored by him, he has to pretty much play every role. And then on offense, we have to go through him most of the time because he's the most dynamic with the ball. And with Jimmy, as we know, great in the playoffs, but in the regular season, he's never been the type of guy to go all out. And I think that's kind of that's been an issue this year. Like all our must-win games, just we haven't won, and our stars haven't showed up for those must-win games. That's kind of been the issue. And the thing is, though, like I'm not the one. I'm not gonna be one to turn on Jimmy because I know what he can do, and I've seen it. It's just gonna see it happen. Like I didn't want to go into the plan. I wanted to hopefully get the Cavs in the first round because that's a team that we've been good against this year. But we'll have to see the plan if we end up getting because the Bucks are second seed, right?
Yeah, Bucks are second seed, but the Knicks can still get second seed.
No. Yeah, Knicks aren't. Well, they won today, and the Bucks. Who knows with Giannis out? Who knows what's gonna happen? But I think it's gonna have to be a must-win for that first play-in game because even though against y'all, I'm never gonna be scared against y'all. I would rather my chances versus uh the Knicks or the Bucks or whatever because I just know we match up better to them. And then seeing y'all when we get everything gelled up will be much better than seeing y'all right off the bat.
Yeah, and I think, bro. So I think like and I do understand like the whole like playoff Jimmy thing, but this I don't know for some reason, man. This series just feels much different with this Heat team. Like you just don't really see it with this Heat team. I don't know what it is. Maybe when the playoffs come, we may see a turnaround. But shit just seems different with this team this year, man. It just I don't know what's going on, dude. I feel like they're gonna man. I feel like they're gonna lay an egg in the playoffs.
And it's funny because this is almost exactly how it was last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like just around this time, like we just felt like people were like, "All right, let's tank and lose the play-in so we can get a higher draft pick." And that's kind of what some people are trying to say this year. But like, still at the same time, like this is a veteran-led team, a team that's done there before, with a coach that's done it before, and who has a history of doing it all against the odds. And so it'll be tough. I do think I think that's the main reason why we don't want to play y'all in the first round because I think we still have our shit to get together. And I think in order to play y'all, we need to have everything perfectly together because of how y'all been playing this year and how y'all match. How it's not as good of a matchup as us as it was in previous years, and that's mainly because of having KP out there. But I don't
Right,
know because last game we played y'all, it was tight most of the time.
right,
Yeah.
right.
I
What do you
actually
think, Mal?
So when I seen this quote from Jimmy basically saying like when the playoffs come around, the Heat are we all know how the Heat basketball culture is come playoff time. But one of my thing is you guys remember a couple years ago when LeBron had said like it was like this time around the year he was talking about how he's about to get back into playoff mode and stuff like that. Y'all remember he made
Yeah,
that comment. This is the first year with Westbrook on the Lakers. Y'all remember that?
Oh
yeah,
yeah, and then
yeah, yeah,
they
yeah. I
missed the
remember that.
playoffs.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
They
Yeah.
missed the playoffs.
So it was kind of like, when Brown was trying to tap into that mode. I feel like veteran players, they kind of a lot of them kind of coast through the regular season. Jimmy Butler has dealt with a lot of injuries in the regular season throughout his career, not just in Miami, when he was in Minnesota, when he was in Philly, Chicago, and all. Yeah, so when he's been at other stops as well, and has dealt with missing time in the regular season. Before we really couldn't count out Jimmy Butler in the playoffs. Not saying he's not going to show up this year, but when you are looking at the Heat roster, besides Jimmy Butler, Bam, and Tyler Hero, who else on the Heat is really going to step up? We've seen Caleb Martin do that last year in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Terry Rozier is definitely he's been playing better over the last couple of I'll say the last month or two for the Heat. He seemed like he has gotten his scoring rhythm back, so it is good to see that from him. So I would say the Heat are definitely the Heat and Sixers to me are the dark horses. This is the reason why I don't want to play the Heat in the first round is because you don't know how they're going to be fully healthy, playing at 100% each game. That matters. But I definitely think with how the top teams in the East, as far as the Celtics, Bucks, and Knicks are playing right now, I would say the Heat probably don't have a good chance of making it out of the first round, but don't be surprised if they are able to flip that switch. Like I said, and more so see it in veteran players. But I don't know if Jimmy Butler is at that age where now it's like, he may be able to get 25, but is it gonna be crazy how last year when the playoffs started, he had a 50-point game against the Bucks, but remember he wasn't missing in the first round before he hurt his ankle. So if he could go on a run like that, then the Heat are going to be scary. But to answer your question, I don't really know if the Heat will be able to make a lot of noise this playoffs, but definitely can't write them off because we've seen last year, even as an 8 seed, they were able to make it to the to the NBA Finals last year. So I would say definitely keep an eye out for it, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Heat aren't able to flip that switch.
And I want to add one thing. I think the biggest, like, if the best thing that's happened to our season is the emergence of Nikola Jovic as being that kind of stretch four, that tall four that we
Facts.
Yeah,
needed
you
to
guys have
surround
definitely
Bam.
been
Because
finding a role for him.
He
yeah,
only
and like
22.
yeah,
Kevin
he's
Love is
22.
playing good for y'all too.
Yep, Kevin Love's playing that backup five role, which is gonna end up being the backup five in the playoffs. Emergence of Jovic playing a lot of good minutes, playing a lot of great basketball. He's still going through that youth phase. One game he'll have 20, next game he'll have 2.
Yeah.
But like he's showing great effort, been a major improvement on defense, and that's kind of what we've needed him. Well, we've needed a player of that caliber, of another tall ball handler that can stretch the floor, that can play defense and just have just size. Because as you guys know, Bam has been our tallest player, and he's 6'9". When we play y'all, your second tallest player on the court is 6'9". So it's like it's hard at times, but I will say that's been the brightest spot for the Heat for the Heat season. And yeah, hopefully too in the playoffs we get to see Jaime Jaquez Jr. kind of resurge back up. He's going through his rookie wall, that rookie slump.
Yeah.
But I do think that once the playoffs start, that everyone gets a little bit of rest up, everyone gets gelled together, he'll be able to make that spot. But as we know, the rotation gets short in the playoffs, and I do think at max strength the Heat have enough to contend. Just gonna see who's gonna be at max strength.
Yeah. So, I mean, hopefully the Heat are able to figure it out. We'll see what happens with them, man. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, this year it just feels a bit off. But as we know, man, Coach Spo, he's always gonna have that team ready.
Strap up. You're locked into the Gridiron Sports Podcast.
Yo, so let's talk about some NBA awards real quick, guys. So we got Wemby and Rudy Gobert as the two front runners for Defensive Player of the Year. Gobert is the biggest favorite right now. I think he's like favorite like minus 5,000 to win. Wemby has had a really great defensive season. And there's been a lot of controversy, man, that Wemby should get Defensive Player of the Year, but people were saying no, it should go to Gobert because he is anchoring the best defense in the NBA. So what do you guys think, man? Should Wemby get more consideration for it? Should he not even get more consideration for the Defensive Player of the Year? Should he be the Defensive Player of the Year this year, or should it be some Gobert or somebody else? What do you guys think?
I'm gonna start this off. First off, I think Wemby will be the Defensive Player of the Year for the future, for like the next 10 years. But Defensive Player of the Year should go to Bam Adebayo. And it's sad to see our windows closing, because I think Rudy Gobert is a great rim protector, but as a defender, I think he's very overrated as a defender.
Facts.
And this is a guy that had to be taken out of games in the crunch time in Minnesota
Facts.
because of his defense.
He's a liability.
And so like I don't think I can't see a Defensive Player of the Year, especially because when they gave it all those 2 or 3 years to Draymond Green, who's pretty much doing what Bam Adebayo does on defense.
Yeah.
They have the same exact role, and Bam is better at rim protecting. And I'll say Bam is probably a better overall defender. I think Draymond's just better technically. But I do think that of course I'm gonna be biased, but I do think Bam is someone that can guard 1 through 5, who's asked to anchor, who's also asked to anchor the defense, who's asked to be that rim protector. Like, this is a guy that when you talk to the best players like in the league, you talk to the Steph Currys, the KDs, like all these great players, they'll say Bam is the guy that gives all of them trouble. And this is 1 through 5. But off of my side tangent, I do think even this year, I do think Bam should be Defensive Player of the Year. He's never gonna get it, and that's gonna be a sad thing. He's gonna be like a similar situation to how LeBron is never gonna win a Defensive Player of the Year. But I think that Wemby is the better defender. This clip went viral of the YMCA Grizzlies had a 3-on-1, and they were just playing hot potato because they didn't want to all get blocked by Wemby. And so I think when you have a guy, when you have a 3v1 and that's their mindset is I don't want to get blocked by Wemby, I think that speaks to more. And but I get it. I get it. It's kind of gonna be politics because, as we know, the Spurs are still the worst team or one of the worst teams in the league. And even though it's not even Wemby's fault, but yeah, especially if the Timberwolves are the number 1 defense, they're gonna give it to their anchor man Rudy Gobert. But I do think that Rudy Gobert is not even shouldn't even be top 3 for the award.
That's a very
Shit.
bold. You say he shouldn't be top 3. That's a very bold take.
I think Rudy Gobert is very overrated. He's a rim protector. I don't believe in giving defensive player of the year to strict rim protectors.
Yeah. So I mean, you make your point that you made about Bam. I actually can't necessarily disagree with that. I mean, I had watched the Heat and Mavs game yesterday. Even though Luka, went crazy, being the fact that the Heat have Bam guarding the other team's best wing player as a center, definitely shows Bam's like his overall versatility as a defender out there. So he should definitely be in that conversation for defensive player of the year. He's actually, and I'm actually surprised he's actually not talked about enough, because you talk about somebody like a Draymond Green, that's basically what Bam is for the Miami Heat. So and that's actually a good point that you made with Bam. He should definitely be in a conversation for defensive player of the year, because if Wemby is in some people's eyes is the defensive player of the year or in that conversation, even they have like you
The
said, they have
windows.
one of the worst records. I definitely understand that.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were talking about Bam. I was gonna say, yeah, the window's closed because of Wemby. Like the window's closed now. It's over with. We're never
Yeah,
touching that award.
it's a Gobert Wemby award right now.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, Gobert is definitely a better help defender, because individually, he wasn't even guarding Nikola Jokic last night. They had Kyle Anderson guarding Jokic. Like, come on now.
Facts.
Like, come on now. I mean, don't get me
It's
wrong.
like
I think Jokic averages like 30 against, close to 30 against Gobert, because he always gives him the fits. So I understand
you're
that, but come
supposed to
on
be
now.
the deep I was watching highlights of the game. Like every time every time Jokic sees Gobert on him, he goes and drives at him. When I was watching the finals last year, in the 2 games this year, when Bam's on Jokic, Bam is holding his own. He's been the only one I've seen to give Jokic fits that I've seen personally. I like, and I think this I, that just kind of proves my point though. Like you're supposed to be the best defensive player in the field, best defensive player on the court, and you're not guarding the best big man in the world right now. Like that's just kind of telling to me.
I mean, see, with the NBA, man, I try not to, because I know Wemby's stats are crazy on the defensive end. But one thing I try not, especially with basketball, I try not to pay too much attention to the stats, because they could be uh misleading, a la Hassan Whiteside. Like this man is,
No. Hassan Whiteside was the greatest rim protector of all time. Oh my god.
bro, hell no.
Yo.
What, bro? Yo, like
Hassan Whiteside was a good rim protector on the Heat, though, bro.
Hassan,
He
Hassan
did play
Whiteside was
good.
locking down the
He
paint on
wasn't
the
trash,
Heat.
bro. He
On
was
the
good.
Heat,
what? No, because
before he signed that big ass contract, Hassan Whiteside was the best rim protector in the league.
if you look at no, I'm just speaking from like a statistical perspective. If you look at Hassan Whiteside's stats, he was averaging like 15 and 15, right? But
It was a great 15 and 15. No, that was a great
man,
15 and 15.
Yeah, bro. Those are good
man,
numbers, Chase. What you talking about? 15 and
no,
15?
That was a great 15 and 15. Like
Yeah.
I watched those games.
which Hassan Whiteside are we talking about? Portland
This is
Trailblazers?
No,
no, I'm
the
talking
Miami
about
Heat.
Miami
Miami Heat.
Heat.
Oh, okay. I was talking about Trailblazers.
Oh
Okay,
hell
fair.
no.
Okay.
Yeah, Trailblazers, they got him after he got his deal. That was just a
Yeah,
bad.
after
Yeah.
Okay.
Son Weston got paid, it was over. But before he got paid, that was the greatest rim protector I've
Okay. Okay, that's fair. But okay. I was talking about Trailblazers. I think it was Trailblazers Whiteside. Terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Travis Westside was bad.
he had good numbers, but just terrible, right? So I try not to delve too much into the numbers. Like, I try to just like pay attention to what's going on in the game. But like you said, man, Rudy Gobert. At times, if you watch the Timberwolves games, he like with that down the stretch in the fourth quarter, they had to take him out the game because like, well, sometimes he could be a liability, right? And defensive, not even just defensively, offensively as well. I mean, he can't guard 1 through 5 like Bam can guard 1 through. He cannot guard 1 through 5 like Bam and AD, right? So I don't know, man. I want to say Wemby, but like the biggest drawback with Wemby is just that like, yo, like like these niggas,
The record.
like
The
the record, and
they,
these
they
niggas
said,
is trash. Like these
Yeah.
niggas trash.
But if you look at Wemby individually, bro, he's averaging almost like 3.5 blocks, almost 4 blocks a game. He's
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Defensive Player of the Year is more so a big man award. So I guess that's some reason why, like, Draymond Green, Gobert, the reason why they are more so the people that's in it as far as, winning the award most recently. So
Yeah.
Wemby definitely has a good shot. And also the media plays a huge factor. The disrespect that Rudy Gobert gets, even though I think he's a 2 or 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, kind of the
3
disrespect.
times. If he wins, it'll be 4 times.
Yeah, before exactly. So he's already a
This is
3-time
insane.
Defensive Player of the
That's
Year.
insane
They're
to me.
already looking to give the award to somebody else other than Rudy Gobert. And Wemby leading the lead in blocks. Like I said, Wemby can guard 1 through 5 technically because he's a forward technically, but
Yeah.
since he's
Yeah,
7'5", he plays the center. So he's actually one of the only big men who could do 1 through 5 and have the agility to guard somebody on the wing. And obviously him
Yeah.
having a long ass wingspan and being 7'5" in height, his reach is unbelievable. So
Yeah.
I would
But-
give Wemby the award this year. Because if you look at this, I'm not like a big like stats and like advanced stats person, but
Yeah.
if you look at when Wemby is on the court versus off the court,
They're-
it's a huge. I think it's one of
Yeah.
the biggest
I think they're like number
differences
1 in the
over the
league
last
when he's
couple
on
years that
court.
we've seen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's facts. And I mean, and the thing is, like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like the whole blocks thing doesn't even surprise me because, like, you're the tallest player in the NBA. Like, if you're not leading the league in blocks, like there's a problem.
Bro, nah.
No, but
You can't do that though. It's a different on how he's getting those blocks,
Wemby,
Chase.
there's people are scared to go up against him. Like,
Yeah, bro. Like,
they're scared. They're scared to go up against him.
if
Like,
you 7'5" and you're not leading the league in blocks, bro,
no,
you're the number 1 pick and you're not leading the league in blocks, it's the problem.
He's leading the blocks, and people are scared of him.
Fair.
You can't do
fair,
that. You can't.
Fair.
People are supposed to be. You're not supposed to be leading the blocks. People are scared. They're supposed to not even be going up, which means he's still getting those blocks somehow.
Yeah,
Exactly. It's a lot of videos him stopping fast breaks by himself. Like Ant just mentioned the 1-on-3 against the Grizzlies. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
And that's when I saw him dunk on Jokic, run it back, take that shit back from Jokic again, and score again. That's the greatest player of all time. That's gonna be the greatest player of all time. We'll be.
Shit, he ready number 2 right now on my list. Y'all know who number 1.
Yeah, he's number 2 behind LeBron.
Number 2 behind KD. Shit, Wemby is crazy. But yeah, I mean, I would like to see them give him the award this year. I don't know who votes on this stuff. I mean, but sometimes they're like, yo,
Stephen
like
A. Smith.
Yeah, it's people in the media
sometimes,
like Chris Broussard and stuff like that.
Bro, they be on some dumb shit like, oh man, he's just a rookie. His time could come. Fuck that, bro. Just give him
his time is now.
Facts. Just give him the award. Individually, defensively, I would take him over. I think anyone would take him over Gobert. But Mal, to your point, that Gobert disrespect. Yeah, I do think Gobert is a really good defensive player. But no, not the defensive player. He's a good rim protector. There's a difference between being a rim protector and being good at defense. I think a lot of people misconstrue that because if we're looking at defensive player of the year, it's mostly all. What do you notice? It's mostly all big men, right? You never see like a perimeter defender like a Drew Holiday, Derek White,
Marcus Smart.
OG Anunoby.
Oh my God, that makes it even worse.
Marcus Smart did win. He did win.
Marcus Smart has Bam Adebayo's defensive player of the year and is fucking. Memphis is fucking trophy cabinet right now. Has both of Bam's defensive player of the year right now.
Nah.
Yeah, Jaren Jackson winning one. Jaren Jackson did win one. You're right.
Those are both.
Jaren Jackson won one.
Those are Bam's awards right there.
Ben Simmons should have won that. No, Ben Simmons should have won one of Rudy's, bro. Ben Simmons, I forget what year it was. He should have won that.
He had the same problem. Had to get taken off. Had to get taken off in the crunch time.
Man,
on
shit.
Defensive possession.
Shit. But Gobert stole one from Ben, bro. But yeah, like the voters, I don't know, man. The voters, man, I don't know. It was funny. Gilbert Arenas was saying, man, they should just let AI vote on this shit. He said, man, at this point, they should just let AI vote. Because sometimes, man, these voters, man, like they do this shit with the MVP. They say sometimes, like, yo, we're tired of voting for the same motherfucker every time. Like, let's vote for somebody else. And I don't think that. I think from just an integrity standpoint, that doesn't look good. But we'll go ahead and we'll move on to MVP, guys. Do y'all think Jokic sealed with this 40-point game last night? 40-point game against the best defense in the NBA, the best rim protector in the NBA. Do you guys think he sealed up the MVP last night?
Yeah, it's Jokic's MVP. He's getting his third one in 4 years. And the
Third
reason
and
why
4.
Jokic is it's his third. This will be he should have won the one. He should see the problem. Reason why Jokic is going to win. Number one is the Nuggets are the number one seed in the tougher conference, which is the West. Jokic is putting up, basically another almost triple double season. But the reason why he is going to win it this year is because last year they gave it to Embiid, rightfully so. Embiid did earn that MVP, but Jokic should have won it last year. They just didn't want to have a three-peat of the MVP. They've done that a couple of times in NBA history. I believe the most recent one before Jokic would have won 3 in a row was LeBron. LeBron won, I think, 4 MVPs in 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, this happens a little bit in NBA history where they try to keep players from winning 3 in a row. So I do believe they're going to give Jokic his third MVP in 4 years. Like I said, best team in the West. He's clearly the best player in the NBA. Him and Giannis are still 1 and 2, with Luka being third. So Jokic is the most dominant player. He's the most unguardable player too. And you just add his rebounding with his playmaking ability. MVP to me.
Yeah, I was always kind of Jokic MVP. That was kind of always my number one thing. And as I said earlier, like I don't know who should be the MVP. Like it depends on what your definition is. Is MVP the best player in the league? Then it's Jokic. Is it the most valuable player to their team in the league? Then you can say, is it Luka? Then you can say, is it Giannis? Then you can say, is Jokic as valuable to his team as those other guys are valuable to theirs? I don't know, but I do think if for my thing is always the best player, and I think that, and I always take winning. Like winning has to be part of that situation too. Like I don't think like a player that's in the eighth or ninth seed should win MVP.
Fair.
But with Luka being the best player in the league, they're the second best record because Celtics are first, right? But first in the West. First in the West.
Who's first in the West? The Nuggets?
Yeah, Nuggets are first in the West
Oh
right now.
Yeah, Nuggets got the first seed. They have the second best
Yes.
record right now in the league, though. And you was right.
It's the second best record in the league, but playing in the harder conference and being first in the harder conference, and as you said, 40 points against the number one defense and the team that's also fighting for the number one seed. I think that's kind of like a statement game, and we'll see. But I do think that Jokic does deserve it. Obviously, he doesn't care. Literally said yesterday he thinks he's just playing good ball, but like let the other guys get the awards. But as you see, I think that I think he had a chance. I think if he got the MVP last year and it didn't go to Embiid, then maybe we would have seen it go into Luka this year. But I think that especially what Mal said, the voter fatigue thing, no, they didn't let him three-peat. It's kind of their thing, and he's gonna get that third MVP in 4 years, and I think that that's gonna be the case.
Yeah. So, bro, honestly, so with the MVP thing, like I said, I don't. We can't. These voters can't sit here and talk about, we can't keep voting for this player. I hate that shit because it messes up the integrity of everything. But I do think this year, not a lot of people are giving Gilchrist Alexander enough credit for what he's done to this Thunder team. Guys, he's the only All-Star on this Thunder team. Like, look, if we're like, he's the only All-Star on this Thunder team. His second best player is J-Dub, right? He has a rookie, or you could say Chet is the second best player on the team. Chet's a rookie. These guys have fluctuated from 1 through 3 in the West, and they still have a chance of being a number one seed in the West. He's averaging 31, 55% shooting, number one in steals per game. All those steals doesn't really mean you're a good defender. I mean, sometimes you can just be in the passing lane, but Shea is a two-way player. He's good on both ends of the floor. So I don't know why he doesn't get enough credit for being an MVP because he's having a dominant season. Like, Shea is having like a really good season. And the thing is, nobody expected the Thunder to be like, if you like, folks probably thought, okay, Thunder maybe like, y'all like a play-in team or whatever. No one thought the Thunder, if you said Thunder 1 to 3 seed this year with this second youngest team in the league, hell no, bro. So I don't know, man. It's just kind of frustrating to see because it's not like from a numbers perspective, He has the numbers, and he's shooting 55% from the fucking field. That's KD level efficiency right there, right? It's not like he's a big man. He's just out here like, on some Daniel Gafford shit, just dunking the ball and shit. Like these are like actually like jump shots and whatnot. So I don't know, man. I think my MVP is Shea, but obviously, I mean, these voters they're gonna vote for Jokic. Jokic is probably gonna be the MVP, but I would go Shea honestly, because if you just look at the bigger picture from where the Thunder were last year, who they have on the team this year, and look at the Thunder without Shea this year. They're 1-7 without Shea in the lineup this year.
Do you think
So
Anthony Edwards deserves a little bit more recognition in the MVP race as well? Taking the Timberwolves from the 8th seed last year to the 2nd seed right now. Do you think he deserves a little bit more credit too for what he's done in Minnesota?
yeah,
Especially with Cat going down a couple months ago, he's kept the Wolves in the top, in the top two of the West, while Cat has been out too. Do you think he deserves a little love in the MVP race?
yeah, I think he does, but I will put
Not this year.
Not
I'll
this
put
year.
Brunson
Yeah, I
over
can
him.
understand if it's not this year.
I'll put Brunson over Ant, but I do think Ant deserves
Brunson too.
he does
Brunson's
deserve a bit of
Brunson's
credit,
definitely a
but
good pick, bro.
yeah, but if we look at that Timberwolves team, because remember, like last year, people were saying like, "Yo, this Rudy Gobert trade was maybe one of the worst trades in NBA history." But we're looking at this year like this. It's a much better team this year, and like you guys, like we said, the number one defense in the league. They have a really good supporting cast. That team chemistry is up there with the Celtics. Like they have really good team chemistry. They play great individual and team defense. So I do see Ant could be up. I think like in the future he will be up there. But I mean, I wouldn't mind putting Ant in the top 5, top 6 in MVP consideration. I mean, he has had a really good season. He has put the team on his back with Cat out, and we could probably say he may be the best 2-way player in the league. Right. So I mean, I don't have a problem with putting Ant up there, but I just don't like how they're not giving Shea enough credit, man. I don't know why. Like why?
Because he
why?
doesn't. I mean, besides like his IG captions, which are fire by the way, he doesn't really. Being in OKC, he's not a flashy player to be in a small market, if that makes sense. So if he was doing what he was doing in New York, then he would for sure probably be the MVP. But because he's in OKC, just getting his 30 a night, he plays defense. It's not nothing that he's not an Anthony Edwards. You feel me? Like dunking on people, getting the crowd and like
Yeah,
if that
he's
makes
not
sense.
as exciting as Anthony Edwards.
Exciting,
I'll
yeah.
say
It's
that.
the same thing that hurts Jalen Brunson. Like he's going a crazy tear, but because he's not, I guess, as exciting as other players in the NBA, and he's not putting stats up like Luka or Jokic, who people consider Jokic a boring player, but you can't deny him being one of the best players in the NBA. So, yeah, I think that's something that hurts, Shea's game is that it's just not exciting enough for the casual fan of basketball. If you like basketball, you love Shea's game, but just as a casual fan and the people that's watching it, because people mostly watch the players that's on the national TV games. I think that's the reason why Jokic and them get a more of a buzz than OKC right now, because nobody predicted OKC to be a top 3 seed in the West this year. You feel me? So maybe next year for Shea, if he can average 30 again and keep them in the top 3, and if they get more national TV games, then he'll probably be a top, again, top 3 MVP finisher. But yeah, I gotta stick with Jokic winning. But yeah, Shea's definitely, he should be top. If he's not top 3, bro, then we know for sure there's something going on with the voting. Like we know for sure Shea's not top 3 MVP. We know for sure they're just giving players awards off of, not, I don't want to say favoritism, but yeah, they're voting for their favorite player if Shea is in the top 3 MVP player. There's no way.
Yeah, so like to that point, about Ant-Man being more excited, I'll paint you guys a good picture, right? I'll give you guys a good example right here. So last week on my story, I put who's a better player, SGA or Ant-Man. Everyone voted Ant-Man. But man, I love both players, but if we're really looking at it, like the biggest difference here, Ant-Man is shooting 46% from the field. Shea is shooting 55% from the field. And he's averaging 30 doing that. That's a huge difference. Like that is like I don't think, especially like in today's game. I mean, a few years ago when Kobe and shit was playing, Kobe, Melo and them was playing, shooting 44% was fine because you had niggas in your face all day, boss, right? But like in this day and age, bro, like that's a big difference. 46 and 55% is a huge difference. So like I don't know. I mean, I think right now I would take Shea, but I think Ant-Man does have the potential to probably be one of the top 3 player, top 5 player in this league. But yeah, he is more exciting to watch though. He definitely is more exciting to watch for sure, like 100%. But I think just because like you're a more exciting player to watch doesn't necessarily mean you're a better player, right? So like it's the same thing with like, okay, so right now, would y'all take Wemby or AD?
Wemby.
Wait, for what? For what? As
Who's,
in for the
who's
season
better,
or for the
Wemby or
future?
AD? Huh?
You said what?
Who's better, Wemby or AD?
Who's better? Who's better? Who am I taking?
Yeah,
No,
like
like who's better? Like
Two completely different answers.
who's
I think
better? Wemby
is
is more
more a better.
exciting to watch, right?
Okay, 80 is better right now.
80's better right now
But
for
who
sure.
am I taking? I'm taking Wemby. And that's
Yeah.
not even having to do potential. I think Wemby will get you just as much as AD would do. And I don't have to worry about getting a little scratch in the face and then being out for the rest of the game. And that's not me trying to make fun of AD. It's literally what happens in life.
I mean, I feel you, but like I was just trying to, I was just trying to paint the picture, like just point out that like like sometimes like a player like Wemby is one of the most exciting players to watch in the NBA, right? But am I gonna sit here and say he's better than is he better than Jokic? Nah, I'm not gonna say, but he's more exciting. I don't know who's more exciting to watch versus the two. Jokic is pretty fun to watch too, especially on the offensive end. But yeah, I was just saying like
Yeah, and Wemby has that marketability behind him.
right,
Sort of
right,
like
right.
yeah, sort of like with AD. Remember AD came out, they was all hype about the
Yeah.
brow, and he was on almost every commercial. He was featured a lot. Like Ant said, he does get those knick-knack injuries that for some reason keep him out a lot longer than other players. But it's no diss against AD. But I think if Wemby can stay on the court and stay healthy and keep putting up these stats, if the Spurs, they start winning.
Yeah.
Shoot, look, if the Spurs are a 4th or 5th seed, you know how we talking about Luka may get MVP? I'm telling you right now, if the Spurs are a 4th or 5th seed next year, I'm guaranteeing you they're going to give Wemby the MVP if he's putting up, because he can only get better from here. So if he's going like 23 to 25 points a game, I'm telling you they're going to give him the MVP.
He's going to make a bigger jump.
Let me say, if he has like if he does what Pablo did this year and brings them to the like how the Magic are now are in the 6th seed, does he win MVP like that? Or does he have to? Would he have to be putting up his Wemby numbers while getting up to the 6th seed?
Yeah, putting up his Wemby numbers. Because if he gets like 4 blocks a game, mind you, his scoring is only going to go up. So
yeah, but
that's
one thing I'm interested in seeing though, because I do think, because it's really easy to say like, this is going to be his worst season, right? But I mean, I really started to think about it. I'm like, like if he starts to get more help around him, he can probably ease off the gas pedal a bit, right? If he starts to get like more like really good players around him, he could probably ease off the gas pedal a bit. Maybe like we're not seeing him go as like all out as he is defensively now, because like you gotta let's say you get a good, what is Wemby a 4 or 5? Does he play the 4 or the 5?
He plays the 5, but he's positionless.
Yeah, he should keep playing the.
He's a center.
I ain't gonna hold you. Sometimes I see him playing point guard, like taking
because
the
he's
ball
that
up.
skilled. Yeah, he's that skilled.
So
it's not like Giannis, where Giannis is a 4. Wemby's a true 5. He's a true 5, but
you think so? He's a man,
because he has to play the. If they could get another big man in the draft or free agency this year, then we'll see.
Then they can move him to the 4.
Yeah,
but
right now he has to play the 5.
Wemby at the 4 is scary. At a stretch 4 is scary. Like
they get somebody like a Zach Edey on the Spurs next year, something like that.
Oh no,
hey,
bust.
Who's Zach Edey?
It's not gonna matter. He's got to sit. He's got to sit in the paint and just.
Yeah, he
got to sit in the paint and play with Wemby.
Everybody else around you can shoot. You don't have to shoot. And not everybody has to shoot in the NBA. If he could develop a mid range, hold on. Did you think Brook Lopez would be able to shoot as well as he can now? Hell no.
Nah, he developed a shot. Brook Lopez, he's one of the best stretch runners in the league.
It took him 10 years to do that.
Facts.
It's so same shit with Horford. Horford didn't start shooting threes till like his 8th year in the league.
Yeah. Bro, Andre Drummond be shooting threes. I mean, he don't be making a lot, but he be shooting threes.
No shot he be shooting threes.
No way. No way.
You smoking.
No way.
Nah, Andre Drummond.
I said
if I watch Andre Drummond game and he shoots a 3, I'm just gonna fucking start.
I'm gonna have to find some clips for y'all. I'm pretty sure he's taking a couple of threes this year just to Nurkic can shoot threes now.
Yeah, Nurkic can shoot threes. Yeah, I'll never forget when, I think it was last year, Bismack Biyombo took a three. The announcer was like, "Oh my gosh, what is he doing?"
Yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
that should be funny, because like they don't take threes, but like, it's kind of like what position does Kyle Anderson play? Is he a center or is he a
He's a forward. He's a forward, bro.
bro? His shot is, I don't know if y'all seen his shot,
Yeah, his shit.
yo.
His shit. It's not.
Nah.
It be going in, but I don't know how it goes in. But his shit.
Yeah, some folks just, I don't know. Some folks just
They
shit.
call him slow mo. That's his nickname though. Slow mo.
Yeah, it look like he glitching when he shoot.
Yeah, he's going crazy, bro. Hey,
But
he
yo,
making it though. He making it though.
But last question on this, would y'all take? Do you think every franchise would trade their best player for Wemby right now?
Everybody except Giannis and Jokic and Embiid.
Yeah,
And
that's-
Luka.
that's
And
what I
Luka.
think. That'd be my. I think that's my
Think so?
thing. Yeah.
And probably Steph as the fifth one. But outside of
I don't even know about that. I think
true, because he is older.
yeah. Like it's the same thing. Like that's why I also put LeBron in it, because yes, LeBron is better, but when LeBron is 39 years old, no, not 39, 40, right? 40 now, right?
Yeah.
30. I think he's 39 because he's in year 21. I don't know. His birthday, I don't remember. He's either 39 or 40, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, he's 39. So would you, if you're the Celtics, would you trade both of the Jays for Wemby straight up?
Not both of them, but I'll trade one of them, yeah. Because I had the other one, right?
Yeah, they made.
I wouldn't trade both, but I trade one of them.
Yeah.
Now, if y'all didn't have KP, then I would say yes for both. I'm not saying they're the same type of player. I'm not saying that KP is as good as Wemby, but like the difference between not having that you already have a 7-foot beast.
Shit.
Or should I say beast when he wants to be a beast?
Yeah, I think that's a better way to put it. But last thing on the NBA, y'all. Do y'all think look, I remember. I think, you weren't here when me and Mal were talking about this. We're talking about Doc Rivers when Doc Rivers just got hired. I think, Mal, you had mentioned like, we've seen Doc with talented teams, and like it's just like he's just hasn't been able to produce with talented teams. Do y'all think the Bucks front office, they regret making that trade or that swap?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they originally even though I don't think, I think it is a fireable offense as a coach of a 1 seed to lose in 5 games to an 8 seed. But I also don't think they should have let go of who was their old coach?
Adrian Griffin. He was 30-13.
No, not Adrian Griffin. The one, it was before.
Buden.
Bud, yeah, was it Budenholzer? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they should have kept him. I think firing him was what do you call it? I think someone just had to go down as a fall guy, and I think they just kind of had to make a move, because when you're a 1 seed and you lose an 8 seed, you just kind of have to make them. You have to like say like something has to go. Like that's usually a fireable offense for somebody, and sadly that somebody was Mike Budenholzer. And I do think that they might regret that now, because he had that team gelling. And I do think you kind of gave your new coach kind of a rough time because of what Drew Holiday brought to the team, like how the team was structured around. It was structured around just defense. And then when you trade a lot of their defensive guys, you trade Drew Holiday for bringing a guy like Dame, who's at this point of his career, he's just there for scoring. You kind of have to switch up the whole team around them. And I'm kind of surprised that they haven't been able to kind of get them going. And now it's just going to get even worse. With now Giannis is going to be out for maybe the first couple of games of the first round. Who knows? But yeah, I do think they regret. I know that they definitely regret the Doc hire. I think the most thing they regret is firing Budenholzer.
What do you think, Mal?
Yeah, I definitely think the Bucks regret firing Adrian Griffin. What the Bucks, they're still in the second seed, the post firing. But I believe their record they have more losses and less games with Doc Rivers, coaching than they did with Adrian Griffin coaching those 43 games that he did early in the year. So that should just let you know that the change wasn't necessarily the best move for the Bucks to make, especially not during the middle of a season. I like I said, I did mention before, Doc does underperform when it comes to having talented rosters. But now that hindsight is 2020, I can't put too much on him because you did get a talented roster in the middle of the season. That is very hard to implement your coaching style, your playbook, your calling plays to find out what your players actually like in the middle of a season when they've already played 43 games prior to that. So I'm not going to cut Doc any slack if the Bucks do flame out early in the playoffs, but that is all depending on if Giannis comes back fully healthy from that calf strain. That's we all seen what happened to KD a couple years ago with the calf strain, so we really got to see how the Bucks play that. Giannis is a freak of a specimen, so he may just bounce back and be fine, but we got to see how he comes back from that calf strain. But yeah, I just think the Bucks are making too many impulsive decisions. You fire your coach, Mike Budenholzer last year in the offseason. You trade away Drew Holiday to bring in Dame Lillard. Then you fire your new head coach halfway through the season. I think they're just trying to microwave the championship process. And if you're a Bucks fan, you have to let them know, like, yo, we didn't microwave the process in the first time. Everything we built was built through the draft and built through, free agency, but signing Brook Lopez, getting some good trade pieces and Drew Holiday and stuff like that. But, like Giannis and Chris Middleton and the surrounding pieces, most of them were just drafted to the Bucks. So this, to win a championship in the NBA is very hard. That's the last thing I'll say. To win a championship in the NBA is very hard. You cannot microwave the process just because you have talented pieces, as we see for the Phoenix Suns. They have a talented roster, but they're the 7th or 8th seed right now in the Western Conference. So just because you have talent on your roster does not mean it's going to pan out to a championship or to you being the best team. But being the fact that the Bucks have been going through this, up and down roller coaster all year, and they're still the 2nd seed in the East, that should let you know that their roster is definitely they have a winning roster, but maybe Doc Rivers isn't the answer at the head coaching position, and it don't look like the players are actually fully buying into a system. They played good against the Celtics on Tuesday. But I think that was more so just a message to the league, like, hey, we lost 4 straight, but we're not like a bottom feeder team. We're still one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. Granted, Porzingis and Horford didn't play, so we don't have an answer for Giannis in that type of game. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't see the reason why they chose Doc Rivers in the first place, and I don't see that decision panning out right now or anytime in the future.
Yeah, and guys, I think you guys made some really good points, man. I think one of the most overlooked moves with this whole Bucks catastrophe is just letting Drew Holiday go. That was, man, Drew Holiday, letting him go is that may have been a worse decision than bringing Doc in. All right, and yeah, it's cost them, man. They haven't really made a bunch of improve. I mean, they've improved a bit on a defensive end, but let me let me tell y'all this: like, don't let it fool you, because like what they're doing, what the Bucks are doing, they're just slowing down the game. Less possessions. I mean, they're slowed down the game since Adrian Griffin was a coach. So I mean, obviously the teams are going to have less possession, and it looks like you're playing better defense. When in hindsight, you're really not. Right. So that's what's going on with the Bucks here. But I do think that Doc Rivers move was awful, man. They should have just let Adrian Griffin figure it out. And that's, I think, as a coach, especially as a new coach in the league, man, you're going to go through adversity, right? You're going to go through points where you just got to figure this shit out. And sometimes like you can see your team just take a complete turn, like Mal a few years ago with Ime Udoka is the first year of him being a coach as the Celtics. The Celtics started off like it was 25-25. Then they ended the season with the second best record in the East. So sometimes you just gotta let these guys figure it out, man. I mean, it's his first year. It was Griffin's first year as a coach, right?
Yep, first year as a coach.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, man, that's the shit, man. You gotta let him figure it out. Let him figure it out, and just at least give him to the playoffs and see what happens, man. But I just think it was just an impulsive decision. We could even argue and say if the Celtics weren't as dominant as they were this season, let's say the Bucks were the number 1 seed in the East, they probably wouldn't even have fired this man. So it just looks like an impulsive decision. It's gonna haunt the Bucks, man. And right now, Doc as their coach, we know what Doc's gonna do in the playoffs, man. So as long as you let Doc get a lead on you in the playoffs, I mean, you're gonna win the series, bro.
From the end zone. to the court, to the pitch, we've got you covered. This is the Gridiron Sports Podcast, where the game never ends.
Yo, so let's jump into some women's basketball, y'all. Yo, what a resurgence for women's basketball, y'all. Has gotten a lot of exposure this season. Shout out to Caitlin Clark for her job, what she's done. She's going to be going into the WNBA. I mean, she's obviously going to be the first overall pick. She's done a really good job bringing people in and like having fans tune into the games. And like as we've seen, man, the views from these women's basketball games have been off the charts, right? And we actually have people watching women's basketball games from start to finish, and that never happens. Like honestly, I'm not over here trying to knock on women's basketball or anything, but like that just never happens, right? So let me ask you this, yo. What do y'all think was most impressive? What was it, South Carolina's undefeated record or the increase in views in women's college basketball?
If I'm being completely honest, it was the views. And I'm gonna say this because you guys can fact check me on this one, but I'm pretty sure there's been undefeated. I don't know if it was from them, but I think there was a time, I think it was UConn girls that like they lost like maybe they won like 2 or 3 games in like that span of a season, like a 3-year season or something. And so at least it always in my mind, it was always kind of like there's always a team that's always like just that dominate women's sports that like is always gonna get that dog walks to the title. And so that was kind of always my thinking of women's college basketball because that's kind of what I saw. But seeing how much the game was exposed, like seeing that like it's getting mainstream exposure on ESPN Sports Center First Take, like taking up main segments, like sports discourse on Twitter. Women's basketball is starting to become like a big component of that. And as like guys that are just on Twitter, like that are big into sports, like once you're on the discourse part, that means you kind of are there. And that's kind of what you want to get to in a mainstream sport because that's how you get people talking about your sport, how you get more people to watch and watch and watch. And I know that like people were getting mad about like people like broadcasting Caitlin Clark like, oh, why do they keep showing her? Why do they keep showing her? She didn't win. Let's not be obtuse now. We all at least I can say this from my perspective. I tuned in for Caitlin Clark. I didn't tune in because it was a women's final. I tuned in to watch Caitlin Clark. And I will probably end up. That's probably for me the only WNBA games I'll be watching are. I'm definitely gonna watch Caitlin Clark's first game, and I guess her team's gonna have a whole bunch of national televised games. I saw that they got released, and she's not even on the team. She didn't even get drafted to them yet. And I think the Indiana Fever, I think they have like almost all their games are nationally televised. So I'm gonna try and tune in whenever I can just to see keep with their journey. But I think what she did to the sport is just a lot of things that. Like it's kind of weird saying it, but this could be like a turning point in an historic mark for not only just women's basketball but all of women's sports. Because as we know, I can say that the most popular women's sport would be either between soccer and track, and I would say it's probably soccer because of it's just more people know soccer than run track. But I think that with what Kevin Clark was able to do and if it's able to translate over and bring people watching WNBA, you can have a lot of more people just watching it, and that's going to lead to more people talking about it, and leading to hopefully get to the point where they can get larger revenue shares, larger media deals, larger TV deals, so we're able to see these women athletes get paid probably what they deserve. Like I'm not going to sit here and say they're going to be getting $20 million max contracts, but like. They should at least be allowed to get, like, I don't know if WNBA gets private flights. They should be able to get private chartered flights, be able to practice in their own facilities, their own courts, their own travel stuff, their own everything that comes with the sport. And like, I actually saw this on Twitter, leading up to the championship game, but I don't know if it's true or not. But people were saying that people that like when they go to the WNBA draft, it's kind of a downgrade because like as you know in college, like You get your own facility in college, get your own locker room, you get your own gear, get a whole bunch of gear, a whole bunch of clothes, private travel. And WNBA is not all like that because you don't have that backing of a college institution. And so hopefully now that with Caitlin Clark coming into the league, Angel Reese coming into the league, Camila Cardozo, these girls that were kind of the focal point, and then next year with Paige from UConn, the girl from USC that the freshman from USC that went on fire this year, the girl from Stanford. I'm sorry, I don't know that I forgot their names, but these are people that have been able to like be the superstars that the WNBA has needed for people to collect on. And WNBA's always had great players, but like there's never been like I'm not gonna say never, but like most of the time, like I'm gonna be honest, like I only really knew Candace Parker and Brittany Griner for the longest, and like I didn't even know like the Sue Birds, the girl Brano I think is the best player in the league right now. Like I don't really know those, or Diana I think her name is, my bad. But like I didn't know most of those people were until just recently. But I think that being able to bring Caitlin Clark was able to bring eyes to the sport, and now it's not going to be as much people following her, I don't think. But maybe a lot of people start following them WNBA just for her, and then we can see what happens.
And has a question on Caitlin Clark.
Yo, what's up?
I said Ant has a crush on Caitlin Clark. Sorry, I was eating a glizzy. It got stuck in my throat, boss.
Wow, that's crazy.
No, like it literally got stuck. When you smile and it gets
slide, yo.
Nah, bro, it
That
gets
is-
stuck.
That is
It's still stuck. I'm
crazy.
still low-key choking, but no diddy. But nah, I said Ant has a crush on Caitlin Clark, but I'll let y'all.
No, I don't. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
he like that 6-foot Iowa John. Yeah,
They talking about she look like
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels.
Oh nah, see they
I
be
can't respect greatness.
Yeah.
No, you go, bro. Whoa.
No, I already said you seen the one I was looking at.
Yeah. Nah, fact, but yo, Mal, what do you think? Oh shit.
There you
Come
go.
on, bro. Yeah, I don't know why she even answered after that one. Say nah, but seriously, all right. So first off, hats off to South Carolina. Them going undefeated can't undermine that. That's a great accomplishment for the South Carolina women's basketball program. Shout out Dawn Stanley, as well for accomplishing that feat. But if we're being honest, we've seen dominant women's college basketball teams. Most recently, before South Carolina, it was UConn. You could run down a list of players they had from Maya Moore to Brianna Stewart and a lot more. Constant number one picks coming from UConn over the years as well. So, we've seen dominant dynasties in women's college basketball over the last, 10 to 20 years. So, hats off to, South Carolina on accomplishing that undefeated feat though. But I'll have to go with the women's basketball should be happy that they have a Caitlin Clark. You mentioned a girl from Stanford, that's Cameron Brake. The girl from USC is Juju Watkins. They're having way more noticeable names in women's college basketball, which is going to lead to the WNBA ratings and revenue going up over the next couple of years because they've always had known players, but they haven't had known players to the national audience. That's not people that love women's basketball. We're talking about the casual fan. You have the casual. Once you can get the casual fan interested in your sport, that's when you start making all the money too. So you want all the media attention that you can get as the WNBA, whether it's good or bad. Whether you have people saying that Caitlin Clark isn't going to succeed in the WNBA or not, just be happy that she's coming to the league because that's going to bring the ratings, that's going to bring the views that you're looking for your games, and that's going to bring bigger contracts eventually in the future for WNBA players. As Ant mentioned earlier, that it's not really a big financial decision that these women are making leaving college to go to the WNBA. The only thing that's different is that they'll just have a guaranteed salary amount, But the crazy thing is about WNBA, there's not a lot of teams. I think there's like 8, 12, probably like 16 teams altogether, I think, in the WNBA. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they've had an issue where since they don't have a lot of teams just yet. They're adding 2 teams next year though, for sure. But the reason why I brought that up was because you have a lot of draft picks who get drafted in the first round that actually get cut in training camp before their actual rookie year at the WNBA. That's an actual thing. So that's the only thing I have concern is that they're going to that part of the WNBA process can hurt if these players don't pan out in the WNBA. If they're not, talented enough to stay on the roster and they get cut, then fans may lose interest if their college, their favorite college player isn't successful in the WNBA. But that's the bad side of things. The good side of things is that you have noticeable names. Like Caitlin Clark is going to drive ratings through the roof. She's going to sell out arenas, and that's what the WNBA needs. So, yes, again, South Carolina, great job on that season going undefeated. But the bigger attention right now for women's sports to get that equality that they're searching for in pay, you need stars like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Paige Beckers. You need all of them. Paige Beckers come back to college, but you need all of them to succeed in the WNBA for that league to grow. So I'm going with the field on that one. Love South Carolina, but I have to go with these college stars coming to WNBA has to be a way more important storyline. The draft that's coming up this upcoming Monday for the WNBA draft has to be the most important storyline for women's basketball to keep growing at the rate that it is.
Facts. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys pretty much. I think, and like Ann said, there's just been quite a few undefeated teams, and you pointed out as well. I mean, love South Carolina, man, but what just what these girls have been able to do for the sport is huge, man. And I mean, I don't know if you guys saw Iowa's revenue, what they made this year from their basketball is crazy. But yeah, I mean, I definitely had to side with just being able to get more viewers on women's basketball. Because as we saw, man, these games, there were some really, 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 really good games, right? So I think that's a huge win for the sport, and hopefully we see more. Because I know we got the girl Juju from LSU. You still got Paige. Is Paige coming out this year or not?
No, she's going back to college. Surprisingly,
Okay. Who the one that? It's a couple of them transferring, right?
The one girl, Van Lift, and the one girl from North Carolina, I
Van
think
Lift
Deja
tough?
Kelly. Who?
Is Van Lift? She nice?
She was better
I
at
mean, she
Louisville.
was when she was the number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she went to
Yeah.
LSU. I think it's just the ball wasn't in her hand as
The
much.
ball was in her hands, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, yeah, but it's gonna be exciting, man. There's a lot of things, and hopefully, like this is able to get them like more sponsorships or even like NIL deals and things like that. So it's pretty exciting for the sport. But we'll stay with college basketball, guys. What do you guys think about Bronny James declaring for the draft?
LeBron made the call. Listen,
Facts.
Bronny, I need you to make
Selfish.
it to the NBA. No, it's not selfish, bro. One thing I have noticed is that this is a very rare instance in sports history where you have a top 2 player all time, LeBron James, being able to play with his son. I don't know if that's even happened before as far as a father playing with a son in a professional sport, but definitely not one of the greatest players of all time. Like, all right, for instance, if Michael Jordan was able to get Marcus Jordan into the NBA if he was still playing, I'm pretty sure the league would have got Marcus Jordan in the NBA if Michael Jordan was still playing at that time. So that's something I'll bring up. But yeah, Bronny going to the NBA, I'm actually excited to see how it's going to pan out for him. My NBA comparison player for him is a Lonzo Ball style. Not necessarily because he's not aggressive on offense. That's the only reason why I can't go like a better ceiling for him. But if he could at least put up what Lonzo was putting up before his injuries, then I think that's a successful career for Bronny James potential in the NBA. If he could be like a Lonzo Ball type player, like I said, because he's not aggressive on the offensive end that much, but if he could just shoot the three well, make his layups, scoring fast break, run the fast break, get the ball in the rebound, defend the other team's best guard, he could definitely make a name in the league for himself. And I think the NBA game fits his style of play way better than college. And also, I think people forget too that he did play. He didn't just play with anybody in college as far as the backcourt goes. Granted, he had the whole heart condition last year in the offseason, so he may not have got like he didn't get a full offseason on his legs, to be in shape. And you know how it all. I don't know if you guys have had injuries while playing college sports, but you trying to come back when everybody else in college is already like in peak shape. It's definitely a huge difference. It's hard to get into that rhythm because no matter when you get into rhythm, those other people have already been training 2 to 3 months, continuously while you've been doing injury rehab and stuff like that. So I think that actually slowed him down as far as the progression he could have showed. But the last point I'll make is look at somebody like a DJ Wagner who was paired with Rob Dillingham at Kentucky. You feel me? DJ Wagner is one of the best scorers and I'm talking about this past. He played for Kentucky this year. One of the best guards in America, scoring guards, but then he struggles with playing with Rob Dillingham, not because Rob Dillingham is going to be a top 5 pick in this draft for sure because he's one of the better guards. But I brought up the comparison because when you pair Bronny with another 5-star guard and what's his name, Isaiah Collier, who's going to go in the first round this year for the draft, sometimes it's hard to show what you can show when you have a better player next to you as far as what they can run the offense through, if that makes sense. So the opportunities for Bronny at USC, he had the heart issue and also playing with another All-American backcourt member who, again, balled out this year for USC. It's kind of like we didn't really get a real good look at Bronny to see what he could really offer on the offensive end. I can only go off the potential that he's shown in his last year at Sierra Canyon in AAU basketball and also the flashes at USC. I'm not expecting him to be an all-time scorer like his dad is. I'm just looking at somebody to come into the NBA to average between 10 to 15 points, play, like a Drew Holiday. He may have a career like a Drew Holiday or Alonzo Ball. That's my comparison for him.
I had shit. Sorry. My comparison for him was Isaac Okoro. Just
Yeah, that was my comparison for him too.
Isaac
Yeah,
Crow,
like-
he was the 6th pick in the draft, wasn't he? Something like that, right?
fourth, I think fourth. But
yeah. So come
like,
on now, what does he even do?
he's just he's a defensive player. I think. Well, I guess for Bronny's sake, like if you can in the NBA, if you can find a way to play like if you're a good defender, any team will take you because especially if you could develop your game as a defensive specimen. Because if we look at on the Orlando Magic, if we look at Jonathan Isaac, he may be their most impactful player on the floor. I know they got Paolo, I know they got Wagner, but it's just because of what he brings to that team defensively. So if you can find a way, and Isaac, he don't put up no stats on the scoreboard. He don't score shit. He don't do shit on the offensive end. But if you can just find a way to be an
He's
impactful
vaccinated from the bucket.
Right. Like if you can just find a way to make an impact on the defense, I think he'll have a good shot. So I think he's. Coro. Do I like the decision of him coming out? No, I don't even think he should have. Although he does have the option to go back to college, whether depending on where he gets drafted. Now, I just don't think he should just put himself out there like that. I think he probably should just stay one more year because he's still very raw as a player. I'm not sure how he'll fare in the league, but as we said, he has a good support. He has a good support system. He has his dad by his side, so I'm sure they'll figure something out. But I don't like the decision. But and I'll let you go.
So yeah, I don't really have anything really to say on it. I think this is just gonna end up being I think this is just trying to see what his options are. Like I don't at the end of the day I think next fall or next whenever when the next NBA season starts he's still gonna be a college athlete. I don't think he's gonna go to the NBA. And because like I said, I think he still has more to grow. And I know probably if push comes to shove, LeBron could probably, Rich Paul, they could probably pull some strings, get a package deal going with the team that picks him up. But also at the end of the day, though, I think this is definitely like too raw. But he played part of a college season. Of course, obviously, most of it was hampered due to him just having that heart attack early in the season when he wasn't able to kind of just lucky even played this year. But I think that's even more of a reason to stick to another year in college. But I get it. LeBron's probably doesn't have a lot of time left. He's probably maybe before this year he thought he had enough, but after how this year's been going, still being in year 21 and having to still be the number one and still being the leader of the team, it's kind of rough on him. And you think even LeBron say he doesn't have a lot of time left, so maybe this is just something to maybe it's a selfish move on LeBron. But also at the end of the day, it's not like Bronny needs the money. So
facts. Is it worth it though? But you guys did make a good points though. But just being able to come back from cardiac arrest is crazy. So and man, like you said, just in any college sport, bro, it don't matter. Like, it don't matter. Like trying to come back mid-season and while everyone else is in mid-season form, it's tough, man. Because you gotta get your rhythm up there. But do y'all think it's worth like y'all said, LeBron doesn't have that much time left. Is it even worth it? Like, like fuck it, Bronny, come out now so we can play together, so we can make history and play together. Is it
I
worth
don't
it?
think it. I don't think it is, honestly. Now unless they've had talks behind the scenes where if their Brady was like, Dad, I don't think this is for me. If there are talks like that behind the scenes, then maybe it is. But if the plan is still for Brady to be the best player he can be, I don't think it's worth it.
What you think, Mal?
I would say, like I said, only reason why I would say it's worth it is because we just don't know. We honestly just don't know how long LeBron wants to be in the NBA for. So the opportunity is there, and I honestly, to be honest with you, bro, I actually think they don't look at Bronny as. If I'm being honest, I don't think he sees Bronny making an NBA if he isn't in the NBA. If that makes sense. I don't think he sees his son getting an opportunity because his son hasn't really showed anything as far as that he could be a NBA caliber player as far as like the offensive side of the ball. We've been looking for that spark on the offense since he was in high school, to be honest with you. Hasn't really showed anything on that side of the ball where it's like, he's a for sure NBA player. So that's one reason why I say they have to make this move now. It's kind of putting pressure on the NBA to make that move, like get Bronny NBA so he can pair with Bron. We have a great storyline. If this is LeBron's last year, they know for like you talk about Caitlin Clark selling out. Come on now. Can you imagine those tickets for a Lakers game to see LeBron and his son play on the road or at home? Like that's the only reason
Capitalism.
why I say they have to pull the trigger on this is to get him in the NBA is because again, LeBron's gonna be 40 years old this next season. Year 22. Granted, he is putting up 25 points a game this year. So me personally, he could clearly play longer than next year, but we don't know how he feels mentally. Does he still, how does he feel mentally, physically, whatever the case may be? So I just think they have to make that move for Brian to get into the NBA. And I think the NBA development and him going to the G League could be an option as a two-way player for a little bit, just to get those games under his legs, to get in shape and stuff like that. So that's also a possibility too. I just think he's just I think he'll be better in an NBA development type program than being in a college again, because he transfers to a college. I don't know where he would go where he could be that star player that will show that he's able to be a top draft pick. So I think just go to the NBA. If you have to sit a year on the bench to understand how the league works, to get your training right, work on your jump shot, work on your overall game. You can still be with your dad, but put that work in every day to get better. And if he does that, then he'll have a good NBA career.
See, like, I just hope, man, he doesn't take with him being LeBron's son. I hope that doesn't strip someone else of an opportunity that deserves it more than Bronny. Honestly, like a kid coming out of college, like, because that could happen. Like, just because like you're LeBron's son, like, we're gonna take you. Because like, who would you like? Okay, let's see. Say you have LeBron's son and you have Chase's son, like me, Chase's son, right? LeBron's son and Chase's son, same type of player, average the
I'm
same
picking.
shit.
I'm
Who you
picking
taking?
LeBron's son 10 times out of 10. I'm
Exactly.
taking
Like,
LeBron.
Yeah,
bro,
I
I
ain't gonna hold you.
exactly. Like, so like,
I've seen Chase hoop. I know if Chase was the
yo,
coach too. I
yo,
know
yo,
damn
yo,
well.
yo.
I'm taking LeBron. I'm taking LeBron's son
Nah,
ten
nah, nah,
times
nah,
out of
nah,
10.
nah. We're not gonna slander like I'm trash at ball. Yo, no, yo, we're not gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna post some vids on Instagram because y'all crazy. Like, I'm telling you, like I'm really like that at basketball. But like to my point, like yeah, like you gonna take LeBron's son no matter. Like you like yo, I'm not fucking like you gonna take LeBron's son. So I just hope that doesn't strip someone else of an opportunity that deserves it. Because like yo, like look at fucking Thanasis. Like let's be real, Thanasis may not even be able to compete in a G League. So like, and like, but they did say like he does have his own role on the team. Like he's like I guess he's their hype man or whatever, and that does play a huge part. Especially you probably need that for a team like the Bucks, a team that's kind of up and down. But still, like I just hope it doesn't strip someone else for an opportunity.
You're locked into the Gridiron Sports Podcast.
Let's finish up real quick with some quick NFL talks. Uh, so okay, I'm not sure if y'all heard today, but Brady said he wouldn't be opposed to coming back. Y'all think that's cap, or is he? Y'all think he will actually come back, or he should say his ass retired?
Stop the cat.
I mean, he's retired. Like he's not coming back to play for the Patriots or whoever you said. I think he I think the 49ers would be the only team he would play for. And that's because they have a win now. They're still a win now mode, but I don't think like it's not going to be like a Joe Flacco where it's like a team like
Oh,
the Browns
facts.
will call him and like that. No, he's done. I don't think
Yep,
he'll.
I think he's
He's
done.
done. He's not playing another snap.
Bro, they about to pay him $30 million to just commentate the game. He's not coming back.
Yo, Brady commentator is finna be fire.
They giving him the Super Bowl next year. For Fox.
For real?
He's gonna be the main broadcast with the he's replacing Greg Olsen. That's all I know. He'll be Fox's main guy, main commentator next year. He's replacing Greg Olsen. So Greg Olsen's still gonna be there, but he's not gonna be there like their I guess like their prime time TV guy is gonna be Tom Brady.
I mean, I like Greg Olsen too. I think he
They're
did a
gonna
good
move
job.
Greg Olsen to the normal.
Yeah, like
That's-
one of those
that's
PM.
great.
the
One
See,
PM
backup
time slot.
backup broadcast. He's not gonna
That's
be the
just
main
kind of
guy.
the same shit we just talked about with Bronny, man. Like, yo, it's LeBron. Like, yo, it's Brady.
Bro,
like,
Tom
yo,
Brady's the GOAT. What you mean, bro?
yeah, like, yo, it's like, yo, nigga, it's Brady. Like, get the fuck on. Like, we, bro, like, we don't. And Greg Olsen he did a really good job like the past 3 years. I mean, was it Fox or NBC?
Fox.
Fox. Yeah, he did a really Greg Olsen. He's one of the better ones out there. But kind of the same thing. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of pissed because like so I'm eating my hot dogs, right, the glizzies, and for some reason the bread tastes weird, bro. I look at the bread, it's fucking keto bread, bro. Like what the fuck?
What is
like
keto? This man got diet bread.
bro, I gotta throw this shit out, man. This shit fucking keto bread. I'm like,
Yeah, this man got diet
I'm
bread.
fucking keto diet, bro.
Yeah, foo bread. That bitch is like foo, don't it?
Yeah, nah, that shit tastes awful. But so what do you think? Rasheed White, is he playing next year?
Rasheed Rice? Yeah.
Yeah, is he gonna play next year? Yeah, or no.
He's gonna be suspended, but he's gonna play next year.
Yeah, I say he didn't.
He'll be suspended.
It's not a
He's
Henry
gonna go
Ruggs
through.
situation, so he'll do the legal troubles, like Ant said, maybe face his suspension. So, but it's the NFL, bro.
Fines, but
He'll be alright.
yeah. Luckily, luckily, no one got hurt. Well, luckily, no one died,
Yeah,
and that was kind of the main difference between this situation and the Henry Ruggs situation.
yeah,
But yeah, just he gotta make I know like great first season, Super Bowl winner.
yeah,
He's probably going crazy with the homies, but like you gotta be smart. You're in the public eye now, especially playing for a team that's been in the public eye now, especially due to a certain relationship. But just has to make smarter decisions.
yeah. Facts.
He seems like a guy I think he'll learn from this, but we'll see.
Hopefully, man. I hope so, bro. Because man, you got a lot to lose. So, and last thing, guys. So, Houston got the Texans got Stephon Diggs for some chump change. Pretty. It's crazy how I mean. Then again, like I think we saw.
It was a good.
It was a cap. A lot of it had to do with cap, right?
Yeah, cap, and because he wasn't gonna sign. I think he was on his last year of his deal.
Yeah,
wasn't gonna sign an extension, and
Yeah.
there's been a lot of just turmoil inside, like
yeah,
from outside noise,
oh yeah,
working frustrations, and it was the best of both worlds to kind of get a change of scenery, and now you're getting because the good thing is Texans, whatever pick they traded away, they're pretty much going to get it back if Diggs doesn't
compensatory, right?
Yeah, compensatory if Diggs doesn't resign, and then on the flip side, you're going to get a motivated Stephon Diggs. He's looking to play to show he's still one of the top receivers in the league.
Yeah,
and you're giving CJ Stroud that true number one that they need to be that guys on the roster. Because I think Tank Dell is a great receiver. Nico Collins is a great receiver, but I do think Stroud needed that one one go-to guy.
Right.
And really, it's perfect because you just need him for one season while Tank Dell continues to grow into the star he can be. Nico Collins going into his fourth year is playing he's been playing great as a number 2 type receiver,
Yeah.
and now just getting digs for even if it's for just this year,
Yeah.
I
For
think he can make the difference. He can be that game changer that they need on that offensive end, and I think they'll have a really good shot this year.
So shot for MVP?
It's possible if he continues, if he continues where he left off at, and just is able to just play that team into another playoff seed. Really, that's kind of all it is. Just continue improving where he's going. I don't think I don't think they'll have to throw for 5,000 yards, but I just think just being able to 4,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, low interception, and just have a good record. And I think that he has a good chance of being in that conversation.
What do you think, Mel?
Listen, as a Colts fan, man, seeing that trade, Stephon Diggs to the Texans,
that's division.
yeah, that's a tough division, man. This is going to be a hard year to watch because CJ Stroud was in MVP conversation last year as a rookie, just from his stellar play, turning the whole franchise around for the Texans. So I'm thinking he's going to put up MVP numbers next year. He's actually my favorite to win MVP as of right now. It could be like an overreaction to the trade, but just seeing what Stephon Diggs can do for a quarterback. We've seen what he did in Minnesota. We've seen how Josh Allen was always talented, but what Stephon Diggs can do with a Josh Allen like quarterback. Now you're giving him CJ Stroud. Is he just as he's probably more accurate than Josh Allen? I'll get your guys' opinion on that, but probably more accurate thrower than Josh Allen. Has a beautiful deep ball, can hit you in stride across the middle. He's a perfect pocket passing quarterback that they're looking for in today's NFL. So yeah, this trade right here puts CJ Stroud as one of the favorites for MVP next year. I think Stephon Diggs will clear 1,000 yards because I think this is somebody who CJ Stroud needed. He didn't have a number one receiver last year, so he had to use all of his receivers last year. And then having a promise in like a Nico Collins, a Dalton Schultz, they had a good running back. I can't remember his name right now, but they have offensive pieces around them. Now you add that veteran receiver, at least for this year, because they did restructure his contract. So after this season, I believe he'll be a free agent. So this is just like a 1-year rental. It could be. So yeah, I think Stephon Diggs is, hey, whatever happened in Buffalo happened in Buffalo. This is Houston. You come in, you get on the right page with your quarterback, and Stephon Diggs is a hard worker, and we've seen that his passion is something that a young team could definitely use just to have like that. For instance, that Ravens game, they was in a dogfight in that playoff game with the Ravens. Just imagine if they had a number one receiver to go to in crunch time or on key drives or key downs. You feel me? So they were a couple of plays away from possibly beating the Ravens. So before the game got out of hand. But I'm just saying, like, this is a good move for the Texans. It's a win now move. So we've seen the formula in the NFL these last couple of what do you say, the last 5 I'll say the last 5 years, more so in the last 3 to 5 years, where having a quarterback on a rookie deal gives the GM, ultimate flexibility to sign players and, make these big moves because they can afford to now. Because we all know when CJ Stroud is coming up for his contract, he may
Oh
be
yeah.
he may be 300 million around that time, 350, but depending on how crazy the contracts can get for the NFL, and he may be around those type of talks. Because nobody would have thought 250 million was possible. And now we're at like 260, 265 for certain quarterbacks. So just imagine somebody like a CJ Stroud coming up for this contract is gonna be big. So yeah, this is a win now move for the Texans. Great move. Diggs still has a couple years left as a receiver. I think he's 30 years old now. We all know what the stigmatism is for people that reach 30 in the NFL. They're quick to write them off. But I think Stephon Diggs, because the way he plays, it's not like he's taking big hits across the middle or getting hit like an Antonio Brown. You remember how Antonio Brown would be getting hit across the middle? I don't really recall Stephon Diggs getting decleated a lot in Buffalo. I think he was just more so like that big play receiver. He made tough catches for sure, but I don't really remember him taking a lot of big hits in his career. So great addition to the Texans offense. I'm excited to see how that pairing is going to go.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a good season, man. Lots of competition at AFC now. Great move for the Texans. I think earlier this year we all predicted Stephon Diggs to be out of Buffalo this year, this coming off season. So I guess it's a win-win situation for both sides, both the Bills and both Stephon Diggs, because it seemed like things kind of got just a bit toxic. I'm not really sure what was going on in there, but happy for both sides, man. But hey, The Bills got a lot of shoes to fill in that receiver room, but hey, man, CJ Stroud got his go-to receiver, and like you said, man, he was in the MVP conversation this past season as a rookie. So we're only expecting. I mean, barring everyone stays healthy, man, this may be a really really breakout season. So kudos to the Texans, and that's it for us today, guys.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of The Gridiron. Thanks for tuning in, sports fans. For the latest updates and behind-the-scenes action, follow us on Twitter @The Gridiron. That's DA Gridiron, your direct line to the game. Catch us back on air next week.